We continue with our press briefing, and we are going to start by informing the country our policing plans of the by-elections in Omoro County, that is in Omoro District. As you are aware, the political campaigns for the parliamentary position for MP Omoro have commenced today, the 16th of May 2022 till the 24th of May. The 6 candidates vying for the position after successful nominations include Ojoko Henry Olanya, NRM, Odong Justin Obia, FDC, Kiza Oscar, ANT, Tolit Simon Akecha, NUP, Engineer Odonga Terence, an independent, and Onen Jimmy Walter, also an independent. Of course, unlike the previous elections where gatherings were restricted, this time candidates and their agents are allowed to hold open mass gatherings and campaigns following the harmonized program of campaigns from 7 a.m. to 6 p.m. We shall not allow for any campaigns beyond 6 p.m. or before 7 a.m. Our teams on the ground have reached out to all candidates and their campaign agents to ensure they abide by the guidelines of the Electoral Commission and follow the harmonized campaign schedules. Therefore, any acts of civil disobedience, dangerous and reckless driving, intimidation, unauthorized parallel campaigns at venues, provocative behavior towards law enforcement personnel, acts of hooliganism, defacing posters, and so on will not be tolerated. We have disseminated our comprehensive policing plan to the territorial commander of Aswa region for implementation without fear or favor. In addition, our task teams have also dispatched CID and CIA personnel to record videos on the respective campaigns or campaign trails documenting the conduct of the political campaigns. We want to wish all candidates a very successful campaign period, and we remain confident as the joint security agencies that we shall deliver a very peaceful campaign process where the rights of the constituents in Omoro and all stakeholders are protected. We are aware of the 84 polling stations, and we have catered for them on the election day. We have 2 layers of security perimeters outside these polling stations where we have patrol routes and even at the tallying center. So the constituents in Omoro should be very confident of this election. Warning politicians on plans to hold unlawful assemblies and processions. You're aware last week we disrupted attempts by the retired Colonel Dr. Kiza Besigye to hold an unlawful assembly and procession as a tool to manifest his discontent against the surge in commodity prices and fuel in the country. The use of illegal processions is not encouraged. On a number of occasions, we've seen how these unlawful processions have massively disrupted the other rights of the community through disruptions in the flow of traffic, the looting of shops and roadside stalls, mugging and theft of phones from bystanders and other pedestrians, running battles with security personnel, provocative behavior like burning tires. And it is against that background that we actually disrupted and even blocked these plans. We therefore call upon the retired Colonel Dr. Kiza Besigye to respect rule of law and notify the police 3 days in advance indicating his plans, the date, the time, the location, size, purpose, and other basic information that can justify the grounds of his procession and assembly. He did not give any notice to the police, which contravened the provisions of the Public Order Management Act, that is Section 5, which was not declared unconstitutional and therefore is still very active. We shall continue using our powers and discretion in policing these unlawful assemblies. All our territorial commanders have been asked to remain vigilant and work with political actors who keep their activities within the confines of the law. And where there is breach of peace, they should use very lawful and reasonable methods to disperse and disrupt any unlawful assemblies. Now, last week there are 2 videos of child abuse that were shared, and of course one of them was a video that was recorded in Kalangala, and another one was recorded here in Chira Road division. It is against the background of those viral videos of child abuse and torture that we've come out once again to warn parents against physical punishments after 2 mothers were separately captured on video physically beating and punishing their children. So as the police, we continue to register these cases where parents and guardians physically beat their children as a regular form of punishment for children basically who are stubborn. Most especially, we've noticed that this is very common in families or parents who are facing some form of social and economic challenges in their families. Now, during the previous week, 2 separate videos showed mothers, one beating, stepping, dragging a son, and even using a panga to inflict injuries on the legs of the son in Kalangala. And the second incident, the mother repeatedly hit the son and pushed him against the wall and even on the main door, causing serious injuries to the son. So in the one which you saw where the 13-year boy they tied the limbs, the legs, and there were already injuries from a machete. That video was from Bugala Local Council 1 in Kalangala Town Council in Kalangala District, and it happened last month, only that it was shared as if it was something new. The mother, a biological mother, Katsime Morin, 30-year-old businesswoman, was angered by the son, Kabuka Vincent, 13-year-old, for involving himself in habitual acts of theft and misconduct. So the mother took that step of punishing the son, but of course you could see that the punishment was too grave, where she tied the son, cut the legs with a panga, and used a heavy stick to continue beating the child. So this matter was reported to police by the secretary LC1. They rescued the boy called Kabuka Vincent, and as a result, the mother was charged to court on the 26th of April, and it was last Thursday, on the 12th of May, that she was given bail after spending 17 days on remand at Mugoye prison. So you can see the effects of these physical beatings and harsh punishments on children. Then in the second video, we informed you about Deborah Polot, who was arrested for inflicting serious injuries on the son called Mark Omiat, 10 years, simply because the child had gone out of his way and disappeared with money for buying groceries, just 5,000 shillings. And the mother went all that extent to punish the son. So we arrested this mother of three, and we've established that she has been in an abusive relationship with the father of her children, called Henry Omiat. The information on the ground is that the husband is an alcoholic who comes out home. When he comes back home, there's always that conflict. So the file was sanctioned and she's appearing in court today. We simply want to urge parents to develop positive desired behaviors that they want their children to follow. Oftentimes parents ignore the occasional bad behavior of these children from early childhood. Others issue empty threats to children from early childhood, so the child grows up without knowing limits and boundaries. And so when they grow up, they already have those bad behaviors and acts of indiscipline from early childhood. Then we also call upon parents to know that, not to forget that children learn by watching adults. So make sure your behavior is a role model material. You cannot create an impression of telling your child not to take alcohol when you're a drunkard. You cannot create an impression when you are somebody who is so disorganized and shabby and you want your young child to be very neat, very tidy, and so on. So there is a lot that we are supposed to learn and teach these children. We need to be consistent in deciding the rules and upholding them. That is the best strategy for disciplining our children. There are certain privileges that we can holistically remove from them.